Greetings. I'm asking you all to excuse my dress and appearance, but I'm working my front yard this evening, Friday afternoon, and something happened yesterday evening, and I want to talk about it for a very brief moment. It's about people who hate and dislike Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now, I've had some white people years back to turn against me because they wanted me to hate Minister Farrakhan. Minister Farrakhan has never done anything to me that was negative, nor to any black or white American that I'm aware of. All he has done was to educate, stimulate, and move forward minds of black people. And to the people who say they don't like Minister Farrakhan, I simply ask you, why not? I think I know why. Every black leader, as far as you can think backwards to your great grandmother, any black person that ever enlightened the minds of black people to move from where they are to the apex of the mountaintop, black people hated them, criticized them, and in many cases supplanted them with wicked white folk and the Uncle Toms and Aunt Janes, black folk, that we've always had among us. I have great respect for the Nation of Islam, Minister Farrakhan, Malcolm X, WD side of the house under Al-Islam. I have great respect for Minister Farrakhan. I have and had white friends who wanted me to speak ill of Minister Louis Farrakhan. I'm going to say at this juncture to the whole world, and if you dislike me for this, there's nothing I can do about it because I'm still speaking the truth to you. In so many ways, I am a product of Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. Now, don't get me wrong, I have never been in the Muslim faith, but I have found myself in the mosque with Muslims under Al-Islam as well as the Nation of Islam in order to understand how those Muslim brothers and sisters knew so much about my history. And I, being brought up in the Christian faith, for the most part, didn't know a heavenly thing outside of what my grandma told me, which was enough to survive in the white man's community. So, I want to talk more about Al-Islam, but I'm getting ready to close it out. My main purpose in doing this and leaving out of my yard, putting down some white rocks and digging up a little dirt, I thought I would let you know because of what happened yesterday. Louis Farrakhan have never lynched white or black folk. Minister Louis Farrakhan has never put pediments for whites or blacks or anybody else not to register to vote. Whatever you can think of, you will not find that in Minister Farrakhan's record. Now, there are lies and untruths, and if it is true, then so what? They say he had something to do with Malcolm X's death. Well, the way these wicked white folk want Minister Farrakhan, if Farrakhan had any dealings in the death of Malcolm X, they would have put him in jail, prison, and sentenced him to death, because they did and do want him dead. And I remember not too many years ago, or not too many decades ago, I think it was Donahue asked Minister Louis Farrakhan in an interview, if you trust in Allah. Wait a minute now. This was the question often asked to Minister Farrakhan. If you believe in Allah and Muhammad so strong, then why do you have an FOI? Why do you have bodyguards around you? Louis Farrakhan politely responded and said, and this was a long time ago, y'all, but I remember, and I'll never forget it. He said, go ask the Pope. Let me repeat, you might not have heard me. He said, go ask the Pope of Rome. He said, go ask the president. Just remember, people, black people will criticize other blacks only because, number one, they are too afraid to stand behind the podium and speak as that black person. Now, if you don't believe what I'm saying, look at every black leader that ever came before you, and you will see, in most cases without exception, the first person to criticize, tear down, and not support that black man is another black man. White people, not righteous white people, but wicked white people, go out and recruit men dressed up in black skin but disown their own kin. So I just want y'all to have a nice day. I want you all to know something. Whenever you set out on a mission to enlighten black minds or to build schools outside, I'm not talking about no church house, I ain't talking about church. You see it? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a new mind. Think outside the box of incarceration and indoctrination, and educate yourself beyond the Holy Bible. That's why when I started listening to the Nation of Islam and Al-Islam, when my first 3 years in the military, because up until 1970, when I went to Atlanta, I didn't know much about the Nation of Islam, the Black Panthers. I've seen them in books a little bit and read magazines. But when I went to Atlanta, I began to look and I began to study a little more. And on the southwest side of Hunter Street, down by Bonner Brothers in Atlanta, southwest side of town, when I graduated from high school, I went to Atlanta for about a year before I went in the military. Hakeem books. I went all through high school and I didn't hardly read many books. But from listening to the Muslims, I picked up every book that I could get my hands on, and I even picked up the book called the Egyptian Book of the Dead. The 7, 8, 9, and 10 books of Moses. The 5 black presidents from G.B.R. Rogers, and from Superman to Man, and Africa's Gift to America, and Ben Yakowin videos, and Fire in the Minds of Men, and all of J.A. Rogers' collection. In fact, I even got to speak with J.A. Rogers and St. Pete, I think. Yeah, St. Pete. Because I was ordering so many of his books in my store. I had a store for 14 years. I got to talk with him before he died. But this enlightenment of my mind was because of Minister Louis Farrakhan. When I was stationed in Texas, I think it is, or Clemens Falls, Oregon 1, Louis Farrakhan was going to Phoenix. At that time, they had started something trying to get it off the ground called Power. That was an organization or industry or wherein they was going to, man, the black folk had come together. Y'all excuse me. But anyway, make a long story short. Islam is what made me leave the box of incarceration and indoctrination. And I'm on that mission now. And I'm probably going to die on that mission. Because I have no intentions of getting off of the highway of holiness, as Isaiah 35 and 8 speak of, which is the straight path. And so, Minister Farrakhan, you have a lot of people that dislike you. They speak ill of you because they don't know you. And because they don't know you, and that's why they don't appreciate you. Black Americans here, white folk call the Nation of Islam a terrorist organization. Y'all excuse me, I wasn't planning on talking this long. But if the Nation of Islam is a terrorist organization, tell me, Mr. White Man, tell me, Mr. Black Preachers, tell me, Mr. Black Critics, who has Elijah Muhammad terrorized or murdered or denied their rights under the Constitution? Who did Malcolm terrorize? Who did Minister Farrakhan lynch on trees, castrate fathers and sons on trees across the United States, not just in the southern states? Now, who? What buildings have they bombed? What railway stations have they destroyed? Who have they terrorized? Jesus, the one in your faith under Christendom, said, love ye one another. But you see a lot of Christian organizations that have heat and pumped up hype against other Americans, and they were Christians, they say. Yet you want to label certain black folks as terrorists. You know, they had the nerve to come out after Marcus Garvey. Like I said, whenever you find a true black person that will not be bought cannot be sold and fight to the death if they try to be stolen. Negroes will get the hell away from that type of Negro because they are wicked themselves. And so, Minister Louis Farrakhan, you are the greatest black man in America that I know alive today that I respect the most. Minister Farrakhan. And I say this before the entire ends of the world, not just the earth. And I say that, Minister Farrakhan, because of what I have read about you, the 2 times I talked to you, you are a real human being. You know, I went to Chicago, there on Halstead, the Mosque Miriam, the temple over the new temple. I went to that too. It was just, I've been over there years ago, before I got out of the military. But I had to see this work. And to all you Christians, professing Christians who scared as hell, I'm not talking about those not scared as hell, but you who are scared as hell, won't stand up for nothing, won't speak out on the issues, but go along to get along on everything. You don't like Minister Farrakhan, the Nation of Islam, Al-Islam, Muslims, because the white man told you not to love them, respect them. But I'm going to ask you an important question. I'm asking you all to excuse me. I don't know what I do, because I think I ain't going to do it 2 minutes on it, I just can't stop. Check this. They tell you that Muslims are terrorists and that they want to just, well, I won't get into that. But look, let me tell you what the white man don't tell you. They don't tell you that when they set up their shrine hospitals, they don't tell you when they ride their little buggy carts in the streets, and when your children get burned, that all that is done under the what they call the Shriners. Shriners. And the Shriners, white Shriners, not just the black Shriners, the white Shriners know about Muslims. They know about riding the camel across the desert. They know Islam. They know the Muslim religion, and that is a religion of peace. They know that. Well, I know some of you all are saying rhymes high in hell, you know. Because I rode Clyde too. I got a Fez in the house here. I got a Fez in the house. Sure do. And I didn't steal it. I earned it by going up the ranks of the Masonic Lodge, who also taught me a lot of things that the church didn't teach me. So, and I'm not down the church. Don't get me wrong, y'all. I'm not down the church. I love the church. It's just the devils and wicked people in the church. And so, you hate Minister Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam and those strong black men that stand up in those black suits, white ties, and bow ties. Man, that just tear you up. You can't stand that, can you? But black women be digging on them because they disciplined. I'm not talking about these Muslims running around here who are not Muslim, just masquerading as Muslim. I'm talking about when you meet a real Muslim. They make me tremble. Because I love to see a black man walking in the power of the might that God made him in. They used to preach that kind of strength in Christendom. I remember a time when the holiness black woman was just like the women in Islam and Al-Islam. They didn't have all the titties hanging out. They didn't have all the backside showing because it's bigger than other women. And they didn't contribute to the size of their butt. It just happened to be that way because somewhere in their lineage, it's in their DNA. And nobody should focus on the size of a woman's backside. They should focus on how big is her brain in relationship to wanting to do what the Creator said with a man and not a woman, and not a woman with another woman, or a man. That's what you ought to be looking at. But you looking at a woman's backside, women looking at the handsome or the beautiful man, and ain't got nothing in his brain. And your children gonna follow your footsteps. Your mind all twisted. What can your child mind be like except yours? Messed up. As I close, I was saving this for last. That European white man will tell you that black Christian preacher, that Jehovah's Witness, or whatever you want to call it, I'm just skipping along, and I don't mean to label any of them, because all of them got fault, including me. I probably got more faults than all of you. But let me say this in closing. The white man will tell you that Louis Farrakhan is no good, that he's a terrorist, knowing that they don't have nothing on him. And if they had something on him, he would have been in jail, prison, or on death row today. Okay? What the white man will not tell you, and I'm getting ready to close for sure, y'all. Like I say, I'm going back working the yard. Is that how can Minister Farrakhan and Elijah Muhammad, who came from a little place right up the road here in Georgia, Sandersville. I went up there because I just want to see where Elijah Muhammad came from. How can they be racist when Elijah Muhammad teacher, now if y'all think I'm lying, just Google it so you'll know I'm not lying to you. So I learned years ago not to lie. Because I'm a free man and I don't have to. And I'm willing to die for what I speak. Elijah Muhammad, who taught Malcolm X, W.D., and Minister Farrakhan. But where did the foundation of Elijah Muhammad's knowledge came from? White people won't tell you this. A white man, a white man, a white man, a white man by the name of Master Farrakhan Muhammad. Let me say it again for y'all who think I'm lying. Master Farrakhan Muhammad. My studies tell me that Elijah Muhammad sat under this man's teaching for 3 long years. And I think that probably Farrakhan, in one of his tapes that I think in the 70s I got my hand on, said that in all of the years that he was with this white man, Master Farrakhan Muhammad, and they say he was with him day and night, because his knowledge and his history of the black man was so deep, it reached down into Elijah Muhammad, who was a Christian, whose parents was in the church, reached down and pulled something out of Elijah that the church didn't pull out. Elijah Muhammad was with him for 3.5 years. And they tell me that Elijah Muhammad said in all of the 3 years that he was with Master Farrakhan, said that he never saw the man sleep. He never saw Master Farad Muhammad sleep. So Elijah Muhammad says that one day he thought he saw Master Farad Muhammad sleeping. So Master Farad turned around, and I'm not going to, the fact was he wasn't asleep. Mr. Farrakhan, I thank you for that tape. Mr. Farrakhan, I also thank you for the tape you did back called Heat Call, y'all. And if you are watching, I got people tune in here. If you have never heard the tape called Heat Call, y'all, by Minister Farrakhan, the way he played his musical instrument, and he played that, he played that instrument. A black man's heaven. No, a white man's heaven is a black man's hell. You know what? I'm gonna do a video in there. When I put this on YouTube, I may add that video. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna re-upload this on my YouTube channel, and I'm gonna find that tape from the 70s. I used to listen to Minister Farrakhan back in the 70s so much. My children, and not my children, my siblings and my mother and grandmother thought that I was going to become converted into a Muslim. Because when I was in Myrtle Beach, I was on radio, and my message was of such that Al-Islam keyed in on me. They invited me to come to the masjid and deliver what they called the quick bar. I think it was on Friday evening. I didn't know what a quick bar was, but they wanted me to speak. And I told Brother Mahdi used to go to the masjid. I told Mahdi, I don't know what a quick bar. I need to come and just listen to you all first. He said, He said, you already a Muslim. By the life you live, the message you speak, you don't criticize other denominations. I was in my 20s then, y'all. When I left home from Brooks County, 18 miles west of where I am now, I thought if you wasn't a Christian, you was hell-bound. You could be a Baptist, and I was taught you still was hell-bound. If you was a Methodist, AMEC, whatever you are, that's what I was brought up. I was holiness or hell. But when I got in Okinawa, Japan, and God allowed me to gain favor with the Okinawan old women, they would come to the barracks. I know I told some of you all this before. They would come to the barracks, and like on a Friday evening, just like it is here. And they would come to my barracks, and most men want to go down to the whorehouses, they call it. I didn't go to the whorehouses. I went when I first got there the first night, because them white guys took me down there, and I went one other time, I think. Other than that, I ain't gonna, and then I didn't do nothing. That wasn't my nature. That was not the nature of my flavor, nor the flavor of my nature, even when I was a young man, when everything in Texas used to get up pretty up. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all, I just love telling the truth. Y'all excuse me. No matter, But, and after I was stationed there, and I mostly stayed in my room, tried to play a guitar, never learned. I would go play bingo, but I didn't do what the other GIs did. So the mama sons, which are the elderly lady, and the old papa sons, would come by on Friday, and they would talk to me. They would ask me questions like this. Are you married? And I was. They said, you don't go down and butterfly at Namanui? And I said, no, I don't do that. They said, you don't butterfly? I said, no. They said, you don't smoke happy smoke? He said, all GIs happy smoke. I said, no, I don't happy smoke. And the mama son, elderly lady, reminded me of my grandmother. She said to me, Buddha would be pleased with you. I say, Buddha who? So anyway, I started studying more about Buddha. And I wanted them to tell me more about their form of religion. And after I found out that they believed in the same principles that my grandma had taught me, and that is to want for your neighbor that which you want to have for yourself. Treat others the way you want to be treated. You're going to reap what you sow. God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man sow, that shall he also reap. No man hath power over the Spirit to retain the Spirit. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my word would stand forever. A man's enemy will be those of his own household. Touch not mine anointed and do my prophets no. And I could go on and on. This stuff was put in me around 8, 9 years old. I don't have to read that in no Bible. I don't even have to think about recalling that type of stuff. Something that God put in me. I wish I didn't have it sometimes. But it saved me a lot of headaches and pain because I never had to lie. I just tell the truth. When I was married to my wife, the mother of my children, and I don't have no outside children, and that wasn't by accident. I went all the way through high school. Had a lot of women want to go with me out of my class. But can't none of them say that I went downtown with them and played in the soup pile of what God did not ordain. That was not my nature. None. I went to Okinawa to tell you this as I close. Them Japanese people thought so much of me. You don't hardly get to go inside of their, where they bury the dead. But they took me where many GIs didn't get to go. They took me, and boy, I'm telling you, this thing touched me. Now, I know what my grandmama had taught me, and my grandmama taught me well. I'm not going to down my grandma. No, when my grandmother died, there was 30 of the people probably was white people at her funeral, because that's the way she lived her life. The people that mistreated her, she treated them like kings and queens. And I'm not lying. If I go to Courtland right now, a white guy that we didn't live on his land. We had our own 50 acres land. God, thank God. But he talk about my grandmama more than he do his own mama when we get together. My grandmother always tell me, June, when I leave this world, I don't want to come back here. It's too evil. Too many hateful people. And her prayer was in and out of the church. Lord, when I get ready to leave this world, I only ask that you take me out easy. Needless to say, her wish was overgranted. So, I went with the Japanese Okinawans to learn. It's as if though God sent me to learn more. Because the same thing my grandma believed in, they believed in it too, but just under another name. And so I came to the conclusion, I'm not going to hate somebody because they believe in Buddha, or because they are Muslim, or because they are Jehovah's Witness, or whatever. I said, I'm not the judge. I just want to see some people who is a true reflection of the God that my grandma tried to imitate and live by. And so, the Okinawan people, as I get ready to close on this subject, they took me to the ocean. Yes, I went to the ocean. And I watched them, through a ceremony, take all of these good vegetables and groceries and put them in a canoe and send it out with nobody on it but the groceries. And I asked them, because I did not know, why do you do this? And they said, we're doing this to feed the spirits of our ancestors that we love so much. If they are hungry, this is a symbol, an act of kindness to show that we love them. I thought that was so powerful, and I was almost changed forever. And this is why I don't hate nobody today. If you're an atheist, I just told a guy a few minutes ago, he said this guy is an atheist and he can't get, I got a lot of atheist friends. I don't have no problem with them. I really don't. I know some atheist people that are better human beings than the ones I see masquerading in the church. Not all of them, but many of them. Brother Ryan, why are you saying that? Because it is indeed the truth. I'm going to close on that note. And I said all that because of the brother I met yesterday. I didn't meet him. He really is a friend of mine. But he said he didn't like Farrakhan. And some people don't listen to Farrakhan because they never listened to him. I've had so many people, including white people, hated Minister Farrakhan. But if you sit down and listen to any of his tapes, listen to them. If Gaddafi had listened to Farrakhan, Gaddafi would have been alive today. You see, you all don't think and read outside the box. I could go back and tell you about September of 1968, if my memory is correct. If it wasn't 68, it was 69. When Gaddafi told American soldiers to get the hell out of Libya and stop prostituting their women. That was a strong brother back then. He wrote a book called The Green Book. He wrote another book called The Third Universal Theory, and I read both of them. Why you do that, Brother Ryan? You weren't no Muslim. No, you're right, I wasn't a Muslim. But I did want to follow and find out what real God wanted for my life. And I'm that same way today. That's why you mostly see me walking, I'm walking by myself. That's why I tell you that I can say beyond a shadow of a doubt that when you get on the highway of holiness, you're going to be on that road by yourself. You won't have no friends. You won't have no supporters. You won't have followers. You won't even have people to watch you on Facebook. They turn you off. Because they don't want this. And Jesus knew that. That's why he put this in me, so I could tell you. And this is why he put it in many others. But many of them know God called them to stand up and speak the truth that God put in them, even from a child. But they refuse to do it. But I just be heaven if I'm not going to do it. I was giving them what I'm doing right now. I've been doing it since 1975 when I was 14 years old. God showed me all of this. God showed me exactly what I'm doing now, and the half have not been told yet. I wish to God I could tell you. But God said, not yet. Not yet. But I pray that the day will come when you will understand that no matter what you say about me, no matter how y'all criticize me, I got here in this area. I was stationed at Moody Air Force Base. I was stationed at March of 1975. And a white state patrol, Georgia State Patrol, stopped me traveling on Highway 84, and he lied on me. Said I was speeding when I was doing 55 in a 55 miles an hour zone. That's how I remember his name today. His name was Trooper Duncan. Never will forget it. Because God put him in my path to lie on me. And he wore the shield of David on his car. But I would never been a scared to death Negro, and I've never been a sellout Negro. When that Caucasian called me back then, they would call you to sit in their car. And I knew he was lying, had two witnesses in the car. Tommy McMillan and Randy McMillan. They knew I wasn't speeding, but I was on my CB radio. My handler was Captain Kirk aboard the Starship Enterprise. That was mine. But anyway, I'll tell you more about that some other time. So when I went back to his car, and he told me to open the door, and I sat in his car. And my grandma always told us, two people you never argue with. You never argue with the police on his territory, and you never argue with your doctor when he is the one that's giving you medical treatment. So, I'm sitting in the car, State Patrol, blue car. I'm angry. I'm upset. But I wasn't a madman because my grandmother had prepared me for the world. So I asked Trooper Duncan when he gave me the ticket. I said, sir, why is the speed not showing on the radar? Come on, y'all. Get on the bus with me. I asked Trooper Duncan, why is not the speed showing on the radar? And he said, it cleared when you opened the door. I said, well, thank you, sir. I exited the car, got in my car. I was heading to Valdosta, by the way. I went to the first proper legal U-turn, went back to Brooks County Courthouse, made provision to take him to court, and that's what I did. I took him to court. And I'll tell y'all about the rest of it at another day. But I will tell you this. The Chief Bembry at the time, Sheriff Deputy Jones, used to call him Cat Killer, they met me outside of the courtroom. And they told me, you did a good job, man. But I'll tell y'all about that later. That's another story that needs to be shared in its own place. But all I'm saying to you is that when you stand up for truth and when you stand up for right, I'm telling you that the people in this world, will attack you and lie on you. But all you have to do is stay in God's will. I see former Mayor Linda Harris just showed up in here. This is the lady, Linda Eason Harris, is the mayor of Meigs, Georgia. She is the one that they put through hell and low water. They removed her from office. But see, y'all don't know nothing about that because of the white man news media won't publish the truth to you. And when a black man or a white person stand up and try to give you the truth, y'all reject them. But I did not reject Linda Harris. It's a shame what they did to her. And most of you don't know it because the TV station, the radio, would not publish it. Y'all wonder. My friends ask me, Ryan, why you go to all them places and they don't pay you or at least give you gas money? I'm telling you, when God puts you on a mission for Him, there's nothing you can do about it but do it if you love Him. And you don't have to go around and, I mean, how many times y'all ever heard me come around telling y'all I'm saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost full, fire baptized, I believe in doing right, and I don't do that stuff. I used to do that. I used to do that. I used to tell people I love you. I do it every now and then, but I mean, if my works and if my actions and the life I live don't show you that I love you. My grandmother God bless her Holy Spirit, around our house. And I know what they tell y'all, psychologists tell you, you need to hear that from your parents. And I told my children I love them. Still do. But when I was coming up out there in Brooks County from 1951, they didn't tell us. My grandmama, I cannot remember her telling me that she loved me. I really can't remember my mama telling me that she loved me. Didn't need to hear it because I could feel it. I could hear it. I can see it, smell it, and taste it by the food that they put on our table. So you don't have to tell me that you love me. When I married my wife Ruby, I said to her, I don't want you telling me you love me and giving me all these flowers and whatever, buying me suits. I don't need you to tell me you love me. Just be a reflection of the way Jesus talked about love. And if you do that, I'll know what love is. The trouble today, we got too many people lying. And I'm going to tell you something else too. I mean, Lord, y'all have to excuse me, but y'all know I got work to do in the yard. But you a part of my work too. Let me go, y'all. My battery about dead. I got to go now. I'm going to cut that off, y'all. I want to thank each of you all for tuning in. And I'm asking you all to excuse me because I don't know, man. A girl that moved here from up north, she told me, said, Ryan, I got to do something. We got to put you out there or something. I don't want to go out nowhere. I just want to do what I do and do what God asked me to do in the way I understand it. I've had 2 individuals from 2 universities. I think I told y'all that. Want to give me what they call it, a college doctorate degree or honorary degree, something like that. I told them I don't need that, man. I don't need it. All I want to do is do what God gave me to do, and I don't want to tell everybody that. I just want to just do it. And if you see some good in it, you want to support it, you can. If you don't, I say to heaven with you. Because see, I mean, I know that this is a lonely road. I know what Jesus said. I know what David said. And I know what I have gone through. I know what Linda Harris went through. I know what the Madison Nan went through. I know what Olivia Coley Pearson is going through up there in Douglas and Coffee County now. And no news media in the United States of America will connect the dots like I have done. And I'm not boasting, y'all. Please understand. I'm not boasting. I'm just saying this, trying to let them see that no black man got any business or woman serving in the armed forces until they respect us. Until they, Lord have mercy, you wouldn't believe this. Former mayor of Gordon, Georgia, just tuned in. Marianne Whippaloo. She's one.